From the Daily Wire, legal experts slam judge in Trump hush money case over outrageous jury instructions. Yeah, these instructions are pretty absurd. Legal experts expressed outrage on Wednesday over the instructions Judge Juan Merchan. Juan. I've seen this guy. Ain't he as white as the driven snow or something? Maybe I'm thinking of another judge, but the judge I have in mind looked like a pretty white dude. And he's named Juan. Maybe he's Spanish in nature. I don't know. But Juan Merchan, or Can, or whatever the hell his name is, gave to the jury as instructions he gave to the jury as it began deliberations in former President Donald Trump's hush money case. Former federal prosecutor Andy McCarthy told Fox News that the instructions were not in line with the United States Constitution. You mean due process? And you need to be found guilty unanimously by a jury of your peers, and it turned into make it up as you go along situation. Yeah, it's something like that. What's supposed to happen is a prosecutor has to prove every element of an offense beyond a reasonable doubt. You see, that's how I thought it was supposed to work too. That's why sometimes when you watch a trial, the jury will be divided on certain charges. So they say not guilty on some, but guilty on others. But apparently, to find somebody guilty on all charges, only a few of you have to agree on some of them. Just as long as all of you agree on some of them, all of them are guilty verdicts. That's new to me. I didn't know that was how it worked. That's not how it worked. But apparently this judge wants to change the way jurisprudence works, and he has, and set a horrible precedent, and now we're done. The Republic is over. And Democrats are cheering about it. So every crime, which is a creature of some statute, has different elements. One is mental element, intent, and then there are other things that you have to do to commit the crime itself. You have to actually follow through on your thoughts and ideas, right? At least in most cases. So like with bank robbery, you have to, take money by force from a financial institution and do it intentionally. Correct? And those are the things the prosecutor has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Correct? What this judge is telling this jury in this kind of make it up as you go along New York State prosecution, well, they got to get him for something, right? Federal law. They got to control him in some way or poison and sully those waters before and up until the trial. Federal law is that when they get to the end of the rainbow, we get to the elements of the offense, the jury doesn't have to be in agreement on what it is exactly that Trump did. Yeah, isn't that wrong? I'm confused. Is it supposed to be unanimous? There's 34 different charges. Are you telling me that every member of that jury agreed unanimously, given the tons of reasonable doubt on all the liars that the Alvin Bragg dude brought out, the prosecution brought out, and these trumped up charges? Are you telling me that every single element of every single charge, all 34, was proven beyond a reasonable doubt? That didn't even happen in the FTX case, right? They didn't find him guilty of every single charge, did they? And that dude was guilty as sin, and obviously so. How many billions did he steal? And now he's being let off the hook in regards to having to repay the money. And now people suing can go after the talking heads that he paid to promote his company, but he's free and clear in regards to restitution. That's lovely. Yeah. But he's not Donald Trump. No, all the rules are out the window. You gotta get him. Yeah. The jury doesn't have to be in agreement on exactly what Trump did or what he was trying to commit or conceal when he allegedly falsified his business records. These DC instructions are so bizarre. They're not legal either. They're not constitutional. So they're going to give the jury a menu of choices. Yeah, Oh, I select one from column A, one from column B, one from column C. And that makes him guilty of everything in every column, somehow. What? Oh my God. A menu of choices and tell the jury, that some of them may believe that this was a criminal objective. Some of them may believe something else was, but they don't have to be unanimous on it. But I thought that was like the law, that you can't find somebody guilty on a charge unless the entirety of the jury agrees. You can't, that's not allowed, right? I actually think that's pretty outrageous, he says. But in this case, I'm not sure it makes the top 10 of outrageous. I'm pretty sure it makes the top 10, yo! This is unprecedented. Jonathan Turley, a George Washington University Law School professor, said that the judge delivered the coup de grace with his instructions to the jury. So here's the instructions, and I talked about these before. These are wild! Listen to this. He said, there's no need to agree on what occurred. But isn't the case is what occurred, right? This is what happened. This is what crime... Okay. They can disagree on what the crime was. No, they can't. What are you talking about? You can't disagree on the crime. Isn't that part of like how juries work? They have to agree that there was a crime. If you can't agree on the crime that was committed, how the hell do you come to a guilty verdict? I don't think that he committed this crime. Well, I think he did. Well, how many of us think he did and how many didn't? Well, 9 of us think he did and 11 didn't. Well, it's tyranny of the majority. 9 of us think he did it. So you 3 that think he didn't, well, you don't count. We can all agree he did something wrong, right? Well, yeah. That's enough. Guilty on all 34 charges. That's literally what's being done here. Wow. So they could disagree on what the crime was among the 3 choices. Thus, this means they could split 4-4-4, and the judge will still treat them as unanimous in their verdict. But that's not unanimous. Isn't that illogical? A thing either is or isn't. It can't be both, right? I mean, isn't this breaking the law of non-contradiction? Law of identity, actually? Both. This is contradictory. It's treated. You're saying that essentially the jury was both unanimous but not unanimous. That's a contradiction, right? That's a logical contradiction. How can you say they were unanimous even though they weren't unanimous? What? Oh, right. We're living in the 2024. This is new America. Everything's relative. Oh, my God. Okay, anyway, after the federal election violation, I'm going to still say alleged because you ain't proven it. McCann says that the second crime is falsifying other documents. This creates a redundancy with the New York election violation on the falsifying documents. It allows the government to allege the falsification of documents as a felony and then allows such falsification to be also the unlawful means for certain documents. The third is a violation of the tax laws. So essentially, a dead misdemeanor for falsifying business records was zapped back in life by alleging that under New York election law 17-152, it was done to influence an election by the unlawful means of falsifying business records. Yeah, it sounds very circular to me. It's so circular as to produce vertigo, but that's okay because all the jurors are morons who don't understand or recognize objective truth, which has been the entire point of the government taking over education and indoctrinating people in the woke groupthink relativism and into believing that perception is reality and there's no such thing as objective reality. You can have circular arguments and they make total sense to these people somehow because it aligns with their worldview and beliefs. To hell with logic, that's relative too. It's white supremacy. Okay, yeah. Aren't you saying that only white people can employ logic? Shut up, bigot! Yeah, I'm the bigot for saying that, essentially. Okay. Certainly implying it, aren't you, folks? But anyway, so the jury finds some documents were falsified. Not everybody in the jury, though. They only needed a few to use the unlawful means of falsifying other documents. So all we have to do is prove some documents were falsified, and that means other documents were falsified because we can prove some were. Is that how it works? Don't you have to prove every element? You can't just by inference say, well, we proved he falsified this, which they, by the way, didn't, not to my satisfaction. What? Because the liar Cohen said so? But, because we've proven that he falsified these, which they didn't. That means he falsifies these too. He falsified these as well, and they were going to use that as a justification to charge him with a felony. This is so bizarre. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm too logical, I guess. I'm just oozing white supremacy, I suppose. So the jury finds some documents falsified, and they use that to infer that other documents were falsified. That is only one of the three possible crimes, and the jury does not have to agree on which was the basis for their conviction. What the hell? I mean, that's nuts, right? That's nuts. Has anybody ever heard anything like that? I have never in my entire life heard jury instructions like that. Doesn't that usurp the Constitution? That's not due process, right? Where's the unanimous verdict? Well, that's okay. We don't need it. He's Donald Trump. He's evil orange man. And, if we put him into office, he's going to destroy our democracy, even though we don't live in a democracy, you pinheads. Well, we do now, maybe, unfortunately. Tyranny of the democratic minority that are being catered to give them all the power, give them the control, right? In exchange for lots of benefits and favors and goodies from the government. Yeah. Got to displace Whitey. He's too powerful. He is too resilient. He's too well off. He's too good at taking care of himself. Whitey doesn't really need the government all that much, and he's just so good at producing wealth. Well, we have to knock him down a peg or 10 and replace him with low IQ moron migrants that are dependent upon the government and that we can control. Lovely. So there you go. Those are the jury instructions. Those were the instructions to the jury in regards to sentencing guidelines. You don't have to agree on the crime. Just some of you have to agree. Just so long as everybody agrees he's a bad guy, you can find him guilty on every single charge because reasons. This is where we are in 2024. Yeah. Woohoo. Yeah, right. And that's why the wonderful American experiment that was a constitutional republic but hasn't been one for a while is now dead and buried and over and done with, and we are now a banana republic, and you could call me black bill pessimist, however much you want. I'm right, you're wrong, that's it. If you don't see the truth, well, too bad, because you're going to wake up to that reality real soon when you got all these beanie-wearing, fat-ass coffee-selling, white pill morons running around telling you, well, we need hope. No, we need realism. We need to see reality for what it really is and deal with it on those terms. It's the only way we're going to change anything. It's almost as if people spreading the white pill are trying to stop people from actually dealing with reality on its own terms and making any actual changes and being proactive and fighting back against this tyranny. It's almost as if these white pill fools with their beanies and coffee are controlled opposition shills. Or at the very least, useful idiots. But I don't know. What do you think? Am I right? Is the Constitutional Republic of America done, dead, buried, or am I just way off? I'm just so off base. I'm not a red pillar. I'm not a realist. I'm a black pillar who can only see the worst possible outcome, and I'm not being realistic at all. Or am I right on the freaking money, honey? Let me know what you think in the comments. And please like and subscribe to my BitChute channel if you have not already. I'm on BitChute. I'm also on the, Evil Green side. We know what that is. And you can see at the top of the page, those addresses. And follow me here on YouTube as well. Give me a subscription, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, maybe make a donation for my wonderful juicy red pills that I am doling out. I have the courage, the tenacity, the courage of my convictions to tell you the truth, regardless of whether or not you want to hear it. If you appreciate that, give me a donation. Consider following me on Patreon. And on that note, I'm out of here. Take care and have a good day.